Testing the mic and making sure everything's cool here before I switch to the web cam. So we'll see if it, okay. It sounds like it's doing it now. Okay, that's good. That works. Let me go over to the deal. Let's go ahead and mute it. Let's go ahead and go back to Restream. Let's make sure I refresh. And let's go ahead and make sure I go to chat. And sorry about that, about the thing on the screen there. Uh, Here we go. All right, let's go. Let's go here. Okay. Um, Let me do something just a real quick sec. Even though I got it on desktop already, I guess. Why again? Wow. T. Ninth. C. There we go. Go ahead and enter. Here. Right now, I don't know if this is annoying to people, but I am doing the ahead of time thing. Although I should do it like 2 hours because I think more people. Um, I think more people would actually watch actually come in if I'm live, or if I say ahead of time, like a couple hours ahead of time, so they kind of have a chance to see it, right? Now, people that already watch, they already know, and they come in at around the same time that I tend to get on. Usually it's 11:30 my time, or noon. Lately it's been noon. In fact, tomorrow might not be at all because Dad's got a doctor's appointment and I got to go with him. And so I probably out of commission the whole day, maybe. I mean, it's possible I might get on tomorrow for a couple of hours in the early morning, but more than likely I won't be doing any of that. And I just ran into a really weird thing, and that is X locked me out for a temporary. Uh, I think it said. Now I should have actually took a screenshot and all this stuff. I just surprised that I got this, but I think it was that there's a possible violation of the rules. Maybe I think is what it said. Um, I just did the email verification, and now I got this label on there that says it's got a label and that it might impact some of your features or something. Um, so I don't really get it. I think the only thing that I've done, I think, would be it might be considered spam. Me posting my the link to my stream every day, and it's the same link. And I actually, when I do communities, I post in each of the communities, so I make the slight variation so that X doesn't say it's that I posted the same thing, because you can't post in more than one community at a time. You have to essentially post 4 times. So on my account page, of course, it looks like I'm posting the same thing 4 times with just slight variations, these spaces or a colon or a comma sometimes depending on what I want to do. Just basically little deals like that. But I have to post it 4 times, and then it goes 4 times into my profile. So that's the only possible reason I could think of that my account was locked. I don't get it, but that's the way. Um, Announcement for YouTubers. Anyways, I don't care about stupid YouTubers. Why the heck did it even? I must have went to that or something. Complete the game to unlock unique password. Use the button play to claim your special role. Don't want to play a game. Grab the standard role instead. Give me the standard role. I don't care about your stupid game. I don't care. And I don't care about that. What am I doing over here? Give me a second, please. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so for some weird reason, I was temporarily locked out of my X account, which just it's weird to me. I haven't done anything harassment, although occasionally there's when some liberal stuff pops up on my Twitter feed. Sometimes I'll reply and I'll be maybe kind of abrasive by calling him an idiot or something. You know, I don't ever use swear words, and I don't use anything worse than like calling somebody an idiot. Really, basically. Um, Occasionally, I might view my opinions, which are conservative, and I mean that I suppose that could trigger something. I mean, if X decided to go to random posters and decide to suspend their accounts because or lock their accounts because they said something dumb. I mean that's possible, but it didn't even tell me. It didn't even give me an idea of why it was locked or what I did or what the particular thing I said or did. So and I don't tend to do that, and I don't tend to do it very much. Even I try to uh keep off or keep away from doing any of the political stuff on my main X account. I have another account that I haven't used for a while, but that I was using to do. I had separated like the political stuff, that I had separated who I followed and stuff, and was just keeping to my game stuff there on my main Ufgood account. But occasionally I make a comment or something, but it's just weird to me. I don't get it. But whatever. I guess that potentially means that not as many people may not see my X post. I don't know. I know somebody favorited my X post from when I posted in the community not too long ago, so I have a feeling that it's not that bad, but still, it's just a weird thing to me. So I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, and we'll see if we'll see what goes on. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so what I was working on yesterday was we had gotten Zanzibar into Enchanted Lands through some traveling wizards convention in Las Vegas, and he ends up in Enchanted Lands, and now he's gonna see if there's a con or something he can run, and I'm going to go ahead and open my design note thing, and okay, so now that he's in the channel lands, he starts figuring out a new con. With the help of Corvus, he secures a few coins. Then he runs a coin doubling scam, letting a few patrons win until they start putting in larger amounts. Sometimes magic doesn't work, saying it's a gamble until he has enough to expand his operations. Okay, so it's kind of a basic deal. Now, okay, so now here's the deal. This is my original thing here. Zanzibar then does a few tricks for the first locals he sees in some random village. Gets his crow corpus to steal from the locals. Okay, so I basically sort of nuanced that by trying to figure out what kind of con you could run, and I don't really know that much about cons, so I do know though that we're going to presume he's a good magician, or he's good, at least a good act. So if he tells a story or if he does something interesting, I was a little bit worried at first about doing magic tricks in a world where magic is kind of semi commonplace, and I realized, well, um, uh, people, not everybody is able to use magic, right? So, I mean, that's kind of the logic. Wizards, sorcerers, witches, whatever, they can use magic. Normal people don't use magic. So, I was okay, what else could I do? And then I realized, well, there are a few things, right? So if you're doing for locals, anything that looks like magic to them is going to be magic to them. So they're going to assume that he is a wizard just like everybody else. In fact, he's got his stage name, Zanzibar the Great, and so they'll assume it's his wizard name somehow. And what he's going to do is he's going to run a scam on him. Of course, he's a con artist and he's a thief, and so, uh, but he's also going to use some of his illusionary capabilities, skills, to fool them and trick them into kind of betting. And the way I explain it to myself, or the way I thought of the logicality of it, is that the old the shell game, right? Or three card monte. 3 card monte is the same thing as a shell game, but the shell game is you have a P and you got 3 shells, and usually they're like walnut shells or whatever. And so you put the P in one, and then you swap the places of each of the shells, and then you have somebody come up and attempt to pick the right shell with the P under it. And if they pick the wrong one, they lose their money. If they pick the right one, they get money. Really simple. And then usually what happens is this is sort of a staple of confidence artists, confidence guys, con men, basically con person, con artist, right? Con artist. Anyways, so a con artist, um, and usually what they do is they let you win to get into betting more money, and then when you bet more money, eventually you're gonna get to a point where you're betting so much money and you lose it. Now you can either leave when you lose your money for the first time, or you can keep going because some people that have a problem with gambling, what do they do is that they'll go and they'll figure they'll win it the next time. Why? Because they won it a couple of times the first time, and that's usually the hook. The hook is, you know, the hook is that it's easy for you to win this game. And sometimes I'll have somebody come up that's supposedly unbeknownst to them, um, that comes up and then they win and they're like, "Oh, this is the easiest money I've ever made." And then somebody's skull will come up, and then of course the dealer. I don't know what do you call the con artist, the con man. The con man will let them win a couple of times just to get their confidence, right. And as soon as they're pretty confident they're going to win, that's when he takes away the P and he doesn't put it in there. And they use some sleight of hand when they actually do this game, so that the P is never underneath the shell, or the queen is never in the pile of 3 cards. They usually 3 other cards, you know, um, and that's usually how people get scammed, right? So I figured I could fold this into, this could be his first con. His first little con is he's gonna do what he calls coin doubling magic. Okay, so the idea is if they give him a coin, he'll produce two coins and they'll win an extra coin. Okay, so he does that. Um, but he tells them sometimes the magic doesn't work, and if the magic doesn't work, you'll lose your coin. So then he'll say it's really easy. People win most of the time, and then you of course you warn them. I am warning you that that there is a risk, a small risk, but there is a risk that you might lose your coin. Okay, and so he does this. So he at this time in the beginning he doesn't have any coins of the realm, so he doesn't really have any money to be able to do this trick. So what he's going to do is he's going to get Corvus's crow to go and steal, and what before they figure out how they're going to grab a coin, maybe a loose coin, it doesn't really matter. They're just going to go into a tavern and they're going to look around to see where they can somehow manage to grab a coin, even if they have to beg for it. You could maybe you could pretend to be a drunk and beg for coins because maybe someone will give a coin. But that's not what happens in here. So what happens is when they go in there, as they're looking around, another patron comes in. This big burly dude. He's got this huge bag of coins in his arm, and he goes up to the bar and he slams the bag down, and it opens up, and a couple of coins spill out onto the bar top, and he says, barkeep, your best ale or whatever, and two large mugs or something, or large mug or whatever. Um, and while that's happening, maybe he sees a pretty barmaid. He sees a woman there, and he starts talking to her, and so he's uh, he's aimed or he's turned away from one side of the dealie, and so then Zanzibar realizes this and instructs his crow to go and swipe a coin or two. So he grabs, we'll say he grabs a couple of coins. In fact, I could do a thing. I could do a deal um, about making it a choice. Maybe there's one, two, or three coins, or maybe there's no coin, or one coin, or two coins. Right? In other words, he goes and he tries to get one, and of course he doesn't. He isn't able to get it. And I could turn that into a potential like a puzzle, right? Later on, it could be a real puzzle, but in this case, it would just be it would be a branched, another branch choice thing where I have to he has to figure out how to secure a single coin. Um, so there's a potential that I could do that, but so anyways, he's Corpus grabs a coin, he gets a coin, and so now he's got one coin to play with because really that's kind of all he needs to actually make this magic work, this scam work. So then he goes and he says, "Well, that's not true because I might actually need to do it a couple times. You might need to do it a couple times where um, oh, and maybe there's another thing. Maybe like I said, because sometimes in the confidence game, you get somebody that you supposedly don't know, and maybe you hire them to actually go in and win something, and um, that might be a thing I could do also. I I haven't really thought of the choices per se. I just was trying to think of what he could do. Anyways, what happens is he goes in and he says, "Okay, my magic can actually uh, double your coinage, double your wins." Okay, and then could be the thing of yeah, okay, I could almost introduce another character in here too. That might be interesting. Or could I tie it into an existing character? Because what if he doesn't have? Maybe he has the one coin, but what if he doesn't have many coins, and somebody wants to do several coins, and he doesn't have it? Um, there's a kind of a lot of possibilities I could do in here to actually add to it. But anyways, so the idea is he goes in, he doubles someone's coin, he gives them the coins, and then of course he's going to need more coins to actually be able to do this. He can't just do it just off of one, otherwise they might cry foul. So I'm going to have to set the story up to where he has to at least get two coins so he can do it twice. Um, but maybe that's kind of the point too. Maybe part of the deal is how does he get the two coins? Like it would still be a puzzle later on, and it would be just a choice thing. So I'd have to figure out, okay, how can he get a couple of coins? Well, Corvus could steal them for one thing. I mean that's always a thing because that's partly what he does. Um, and at first I'm like, yeah, because that's what he does. He does it on the big ones, but maybe he doesn't do it on the small ones because maybe single deals. Maybe it's easier to get caught that ways. You know, because what Zanzibar is doing right now is he's kind of surveying the situation. Nobody knows him. He hasn't like set up a show or anything. Now that could be another thing that he could do. He could actually just automatically set up a show and show that he has some magic and try to get some coins. Um, but the idea is nobody knows him. He doesn't know anybody, and nobody's gonna care if he does magic or magic tricks or whatever. So, anyway, so he's gonna run this coin doubling scam, and then he says sometimes it doesn't work, and so he's still got his suit on, right? His tuxedo with tie. It's got a tie, obviously bow tie. It's coat and tails and top hat and wand. So he's got his garb, which means potentially he's got a few magic items that he can actually use. For instance, deck of cards. He could do some card magic. Um, he I was gonna say he has some like flash paper and a match, so that he can kind of make his coin magic even more magical looking. If it works in our realm, it's gonna work even in a realm of magic. Although they'll think because he says it's magic, they'll think it's real magic. Whereas we know that real magic doesn't exist, or at least not in that way, and so we wouldn't buy it. We buy it as a trick, right? We know it's a trick because it's a trick. It's an illusion. But maybe they don't know, and in fact, it might actually work better in a realm full. I didn't think about that. Magic tricks might work really a lot better in a realm where they believe in magic, right? Than say a real world. Real world will be you have to be really good to amaze somebody, right? And so it's like real magic. You don't have to work that hard. Why? Because they see magic every day, and so to them, even though it's common, uh, even though, anyways, because they see it a lot, they tend to believe it's actual real magic, even though it's illusion, right? Anyways, so he goes and he does this coin dealy, and eventually, he's able to win enough that he's got a good amount of like he's made a good amount of money, and he can actually start doing bigger shows. That's kind of what he does. So he'll start actually having shows and doing shows and stuff. But this first deal is this coin doubling thing, and so he's able to double the coins. Um, and he calls it this coin doubling magic, and so he eventually he does that. He runs this con and it works pretty well. In fact, it has to work well because he has to be really good in order to like fool people, right? The idea is he's really good in our realm. He's a really good illusionist, and so far the police hasn't haven't caught up. In fact, maybe the idea is that when they did finally catch him, maybe it was because they saw the crow. They thought the crow was cool, and they saw him like picking pockets and stuff. And eventually, they somehow linked it to uh, to Zanzibar, and that's why he's on the run. And so it isn't because his magic is bad, but it's because you know, crows are actual animals and they're kind of unpredictable, and so they can kind of do some of this stuff. So when people claim that their things have been stolen, then yeah, and maybe there's a little bit of a thing too. And this would just be a little bit of lore if I decided to add it. Maybe he's so good. Maybe the crow is so good, so smart that the crow can actually pick your pocket and leave the wallet there, leave the purse there, or whatever. You know, fish um, you know, coins out and not disturb anything else in such a way where they can't even tell it's gone until it's too late. You know, I was imagining that he would go and he would, like, you know, essentially, what do they call those, cut purses? Cut purses are, or foot pads. Foot pads are, they're people that are silent, that kind of run behind you, and then they essentially pick your pocket. So um, cut purse. A cut purse is someone that literally cuts the purse from your belt. You know, imagine. I don't know when billfolds were ever invented or whatever, but pretty much everybody that carried their money carried it in essentially a purse, essentially a bag, right? It's a purse. You know, we always call what women carry a purse because it's what it is. Men carried purses too, but not like a woman's purse, not like a designer handbag with a strap and stuff. A purse just literally means a bag of money, right? So so I was imagining Corvus would fly around and get behind him and literally cut the use their beak to cut the purses from their bodies, and then steal it that way and bring it back to Zanzibar. But maybe the idea is that he's so smart that he can literally, you know, pick your pocket without you knowing it, or you know, grab your watch. And you wouldn't have a watch in Enchanted Lands per se. You might by somebody that coming into it, like a tourist, but they wouldn't necessarily have a watch, or they might have a stop, like a pocket watch maybe. I can kind of see some stuff that's more modern, convenient-ish. Like they didn't have pocket watches back in medieval times, right? That was mechanics, and that, in fact, it's tiny mechanics, and they weren't doing any kind of fine metal working until like way later. You know, not that you couldn't make it, but actual clocks and things weren't done back in the day. But because this is modern, technically modern times, and different realms, you wouldn't generally have watches, but somebody might have a watch because they might be from your realm or from a realm that's technologically advanced, right? Anywho, so the idea is that Corvus is so smart that he can literally take the earrings from your ears without you even noticing them being gone. You know, I mean, that would be some feat if somebody could do that. You could teach a bird to grab earrings, but it wouldn't necessarily be um, without your notice, right? Especially women that wear earrings, it's like it's the hook is in there, so they'd have to like constantly pick at the ear until the earring fall off. I mean, if you were to do that in real life, but maybe that's part of the lore, part of the thing. It's part of the magic, you might say. He's not magical in the fact that Corvus is not. He's just an animal, but Corvus is also a really smart, maybe smarter than all other crows. You know, and they're supposed to be super smart. So I was just thinking, you know, so I was thinking that on the big shows, Corvus would go around to different people and it essentially steal stuff from them while they're sitting there watching Zanzibar do his act. Okay, so but I'm also going kind of going. Well, he could just steal stuff, I guess. But maybe not. A tavern might be a more of an intimate setting. In other words, it's going to be kind of a small area. It's going to be like a single room with a bar, and there might be a few tables. And it could even be a decent sized one, but it's not really huge. So, Cora's doing any actual stealing might be seen. It might be too easy to see it. Like it might be better if it was outdoors in like some sort of wide open space. So, what was I getting to? Okay, so yeah, so I was thinking of different ways of well, okay, so how can he get a few coins so he can at least start his con? And so I'm thinking different ways. He could get. I was thinking this guy slams this thing on the table, a coin, maybe it rolls off onto the floor or something. Um, maybe maybe when somebody leaves, they leave money on the table, which is kind of a common thing. And then of course your barmaid would come by, or the barkeep or bartender or whatever would come by the tables and pick up the coinage. But so there's a couple of places where Corvus could actually get a few coins, and so I was just thinking. The other thing that I'm thinking of is, what if he doesn't? What if he has only one coin? He can only do the trick once. So if he does it once, and the coins disappear, um, then presumably he has no coins, at least to everybody else. He might have both coins in his pocket, and so then he can't do the trick a second time because he already did it the first time. So he needs at least a couple of coins. It needs at least more than one. So I'm thinking, okay, well, how does he pick up a couple of coins then? I can still do the same way. Like Corvus picks up a couple of loose coins and gives it to him. So he has at least two. I mean, that'll work. That'll work to actually to where he could do the first one and it would work. For the second one, maybe they lose, right? The coins disappear and they never come back. And so now he's got two coins and but then you have the thing of, well, okay, so he's got two coins, just like he had two coins originally, and he does the trick again, and it doesn't work the second time. That's not going to reel somebody in. They're just going to think of him as a phony. They might let him keep his um, extra coins that he wins the second time, but they're not going to fall for that. So, what does he need? He needs at least three coins, right? So now I'm going from he needs at least a coin, he doesn't have anything to, and this is part of the deal though. Um, if you ever watch the A Team, you know that Face Man is the guy that always goes and um, requisitions items. He's the one that gets the crew their equipment, right? Sometimes vehicles, sometimes I just watched one where he had to get some scuba gear because they had to go underwater, and so he managed to sweet talk this girl at the uh, at the scuba shop to loan him the air tanks, so he didn't have to pay anything. So he's that kind of guy. It's kind of like a con artist sort of. So his skill lies in the fact that he can talk anybody into anything, and that's been his deal through the whole series. Um, or as he as his name is supposed to be, Templeton Peck, aka the Face Man. And I always call him Face Man because he's kind of the face. He kind of goes and talks to people and schmoozes and gets things that they normally couldn't get otherwise. But there's another interesting. There's a deal where they needed like a tractor or something, and Face had to go and uh, get this engine for this tractor, and eventually he had to trade it his shoes. They're like some nice alligator leather shoes or something, some sort of super nice shoes that he had to trade. And I'm kind of going, well, he's supposed to be able to talk anybody into anything. Well, he didn't this time. What he did was he got what they needed, but he had to sacrifice his shoes to do it. And I was thinking, that's kind of interesting because that's what they're showing you is they're showing you that he can't always he's not always like super pro in being able to talk to anybody in anything. But the fact is that he always gets what he's aiming to get. What he need, whatever they need, he always it manages to get. So it could be tricking somebody into doing something, or it could be the fact that he's nice to somebody and they help him because it's nice, or maybe he's so good looking that the woman falls for him instantly. He doesn't really have to lie, or just stuff like that. So him giving up his shoes is still in character for Face because the idea is the results, not the method that he uses, right? Anyways, um, the first thing I was thinking of was that Zanzibar's so good that he could have nothing and then end up having a night's lodgings and enough pocket money to buy everybody a round of drinks in the tavern, right? And but I couldn't figure out in my mind how you would do that. How would you how would you do it in such a way to where he doesn't have nothing and he gets something for nothing, kind of sort of thing. That's why I was talking to Grok. In fact, maybe I should go ahead and ask Grok again. Let's see something here. Let me check something real quick. This oh, this should actually be shrunk down. I don't know why I expanded out. It should actually go here. Okay. Liked your post. A temporary label to your account. I have a temporary label on my account. I don't get it. What temporary? Um. Anyways, what is? What? Crap. Oh, crap is right. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at something and I was wondering what the heck this thing was trending. It's I don't know some crap. Which I'm gonna go back to my notifications. Um. Anyways. Okay. These coins still motor magic no scam. Okay. It's this day, and I am still thinking about what I want to do here. Um, give me some ideas of how he can secure a few coins to run the coin doubling scam. Um, that can involve Corvus, but doesn't necessarily involve Corvus stealing. You're referring to secures a few coins, starts going to have ideas. Ah, that's not a bad idea. And actually, I wasn't even. I was trying to tell it that it could include Corvus in the ideas, but I was trying to say not stealing stuff. Okay, okay. I'll let that go, and then I'll say also any ideas that doesn't involve Corvus at all. Um, how about any ideas that doesn't involve Corvus at all? Indie games. Oh, that's cool. Somebody liked my game in indie games. Okay. Um. Mm, mhm. Okay. What's that? Oh, old cartoon. Caps lock is he uses the shift on your first letter. Yeah, that's funny. Uh, well, apparently I can use X normally. I mean, it's so far I haven't seen anything of any real problems. Um, I could go to communities and I could check out, see if my posts are garnering any 3 or 4, 6. Huh, yeah. So I could see how maybe not as many people are seeing my stream link, but it's still kind of okay. That's very interesting. That means only people that follow me can see my post. Okay. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna do something here. Give me a quick second here. Let's go into the readout discussion. Anyone in here that's a part of the readout engine? Me, me on X. See my post today. My account got flagged for some reason I can't even determine. So I'm wondering if it's impacting my posts. Oh, okay. Anyways, okay. Okay, so let me go back up here just so I can go through its deal. It involves the. I'm going to go into the other room in just a second so I can reheat my coffee and refill my water bottle. Condom one involves prep, but not necessarily having him steal. Okay. Use chorus as trained performer, draw a crowd, and collect small coins. Does a trick. That's for tips. I don't know what this mortal magic show or earthly magic or whatever it's talking about, but he keeps on using this thing here. But uh, execution, chorus delivers a prop for payment. As carries carry it to a patron, claiming it's a mortal charm he'll use in his doubling magic to rent the prop, giving Zanzibar starting coins. Small coin to rent the prop. Zanzibar has courts carry a shiny tavern item. Whoever flies a spoon to a burly merchant who pays a copper piece to help the magic. Use the coin in a scam, doubling it to draw bigger bets. Okay, Corvus distracts for tips. I don't know what this mortal thing is. It keeps saying though. Collect small coins from onlookers to bless his doubling magic. Corvus performance. Fetch a trinket, collecting tip coins from non-magical locals are wowed by Corvus tricks. Another thing that I just thought of, um, I could, well, I don't, no, I haven't really fleshed that out exactly. I was saying the idea is that Corvus is actually instructing Zanzibar on something, and he could do something to convince them that he's like this mighty wizard that he was turned into this form or something. Anyways, let's see. Let's see. Well, that involving is focused on command skills. Charm or patron for loan. Uses charisma to convince the tavern patron to lend him a few copper pieces. Double their wealth. Uh, Flatters the merchant. To double it, showing two guns. It says one word to build trust. Scavenge a dropped coin. Yeah, that's one of the things I could do, and that's something that Corvus could actually do too. He could actually pick up a dropped coin, maybe even in a better way, where nobody would notice it really. So, oh, I should go back to Restream, and it looks like Restream is Restream is kind of stopped. That's not, no, it's not stopped. I guess that's interesting. Oh, hey, Greg. Is it 12:16? What time is it? I didn't even notice you there. Just dropping on during lunch. I don't know if you're still here, Greg, but thanks for dropping by. I didn't notice because I have all these windows like I have like Discord and IRC, and then Restream in a browser window, and um, I got like 3 or 4 different deals OBS all opened on my other monitor, so I didn't even notice you there. So if you're not in here still, thanks for dropping by. Talk to you later. If you are, thanks for dropping by. I'll talk to you right now while I'm streaming. Anyways, uh, let me do something here. Didn't notice you there, Piggy. Sorry, all my windows are a mess on my second screen. Anyways, okay. So scavenging drop coin would be ideal. Grabs a coin, he can double it. Other fake service for coins. Fortune selling service. Choices. Notes. Okay. So they're fairly impressionable. That's cool. Let's see. Um, 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 um. I'm trying to figure out. Here, Rook. Okay. All right. Just a moment. Let me go back down here to read up. Nobody's replying. Oh well, it almost doesn't matter, in a way. I mean, it really matters. I don't like the idea that hardly anybody could see my post. So, but there's nothing I can do about it. Um, I suppose he could also do some illusions that he knows of in return for a few extra coins. So let's see if we can come up with that here too. Um, let's see. Blah, blah, right. Candle, disappearing object, floating coin illusion for bets. Yeah, I mean he could do a levitation trick. Why did it do that? It I don't know. It keeps on doing this crap here, where it there we go. Uh, from candle flame, disappearing spoon trick. Hmm. Minimal props. Um. Um. Okay. What are some common easy tricks that magicians do? Maybe in intimate settings, with ordinary items may be on hand. I'm talking for real here. In our world, it is in the real world. not on my games world. Okay. Restream. Hmm. Okay. French drop, coin vanish. A coin, a quarter. Pretends to grab with the other hand, lets you drop in the palm of his first hand, closing. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Does it something like that, and then you kind of go like that, and then it drops into your hand. And no, I don't know how to do any magic tricks. It's just you know, yeah, I know. I mean, you have to, and this is this guy. I mean, I could learn to palm. You know, my hand looks all like this, but you know, like that. But it would have to. Huh, interesting. Anyways, I don't know anything about really about. Okay. The spring shot shaker napkin trick. Salt shaker on the napkin wraps it. Secretly lets it slip through a fold into a lap or under the table while shaping the napkin to look like it still holds the shaker. Then crush the napkin, showing it empty. Relies on simple sleight, needs minimal preparation. 2 card money, 2 playing cards. Shows 2 cards, places them face down, swaps their positions quickly, which is which. Through sleight of hand, false swap, the magician ensures the spectator guesses wrong, creating the illusion of impossible skill. 2 card Monty. I've never heard of that. That's interesting. It's a trick though. It's not a thing. I mean, it's the same thing really, but rubber pencil illusion, pencil or pen between them wiggles it rapidly, creates the illusion of bending rubber. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not really a trick exactly. That would be kind of funny though. The idea is that they're so gullible that they really think it they really think it bends, you know. And they don't realize it's just a visual trick. Shows a sugar packet, tucks it into their fist. He uses a thumb tip or palming to make it disappear. They open their hand and show it's gone, reveal it elsewhere. Why these work? Eye contact to distract, telling a story. Then a charm to sell the trick as a special to a small group. Um, a more tricks I could use. Let's see if it comes up with anything else. But some of them makes the object move or disappear using sleight of hand. Um, that's like the shell game basically. Yeah, I always look at the torn and restored napkin. I've seen it do with the with newspaper, and that's always really cool to see because you see him tear it into small pieces, and then it unfolds and it's whole again. Unfold the restored napkin. Wait, let me see something here. Something. Oh yeah, games from scratch. Um, all right. Restream. Hey Rook, sorry I didn't notice you there either. Although it's only been in like 3 minutes. Just because I had the restream tab on in the background. Um, and I don't know if you saw. Okay, you replied to the fact of not being on X. The reason I'm asking is because apparently my account was locked temporarily because I think it's something to do with I don't know. I'm actually not really sure why it was locked. I just had to. I could just restore it by verifying my account via email, but then it has some sort of temporary label on it, which I don't know. I don't know if there's something that I violated some sort of terms of service or something, and I can't really think of how I could have done that other than maybe posting links to my streams being spam. What I have to do is there's 4 communities on X that I post to, and you have to post them individually, basically, um, or it doesn't go into the community. So I generally post the same thing like 4 times with a few differences, so that X will actually post it. Nobody has actually complained about it yet. In fact, I get some decent interaction depending on when it is, what it is, and what's going on, and for some reason, I don't know. Occasionally, I might call somebody an idiot or something. But I tend to stay away from politics mostly on that account. So I have no clue why it was been suspended, locked, or whatever. No, no, no. No. I'm logged in. Like I have my cookies and stuff, and I just basically pulled up one of the pages, and I switched to it, and then it says it's been locked. Verify it by by email. So it sent me an email, and I verified my account, and I haven't seen anything like suspicious activity or anything. And I thought it's mentioned something about maybe violating terms of service, possibly, but it didn't tell me how I possibly violated terms of service. It really didn't tell me anything other than it was locked, and that to open it back up, I had to use my email. Okay, I did that. It's now unlocked. I can post to it. I can do pretty much like I always do. But then it says they put a label on it, and I'm not even sure what that means. It's somehow it's flagged, and maybe not everybody can see my post now. Maybe only people that follow me directly. And then another weird thing is it doesn't list the accounts I'm following. When I go to my profile, I have to actually click on following, and then all the accounts that I follow pop up, which is kind of weird. Maybe that's one of the things that it does. It limits visibility. Maybe it shows that I'm not following anybody when I have this like special label. So I have no clue. everything seems to work okay, but I have a feeling that not as many people are seeing my stuff because a lot of these a lot of the posts usually get the double digit, sometimes the triple digit views, and then and today it's only getting a few views, so I'm assuming only a few people that I follow or that follow me are able to see um, what I post. That's what I think, anyways. I don't really have a clue though. I don't have a clue as to what exactly is limiting. I don't have a clue what label it's supposed to be. I don't know what I did. It's weird, and I don't even know how to contact X. So I sent a post to the X account, the actual official X account. So so maybe somebody will see that and be able to give me an idea here. Otherwise, I have no clue. Other than the fact that maybe people aren't going to see what I post. Yeah, that's right. CEO X just resigned. That's funny. Uh, okay. Yeah. Anyways, let me get back to my thing. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't know. So, I want this to take off, but X is one of those deals that would actually get me a lot of people, maybe or potentially could get me a lot of people looking at my streams. But I don't know. Whatever. Um, Return and restore next and vanishing glass. Shot glass. Or just scam. Oh, that's a thought. It just give me a good idea here. Vanishing glass under cloth. Cloth or large napkin. Covers the glass with cloth, shapes it to look like the glass is still there, then lifts the cloth to show it's vanished, secretly sliding the glass to their lap or a table edge. Misdirection. Uh, Zanzibar used shot glass, perhaps filled with Quicksilver's spirit and a tavern cloth, vanishing the glass to impress patrons, then asked for coins to bring it back for his scam. Um, yeah, sliding would be, but if he did anything that would spill it, then the illusion would be ruined. So, but it's not a bad idea to hold somebody's drink hostage, you know, by saying that and I could also do I guess I could do anything, any kind of magic trick, just by saying it's a magic trick rather than actually having something that actually works. I know it's kind of hard to say. It's like old TV shows they used to do when they do magic tricks. They'd actually do it with an edit or with a some sort of visual effect, like levitation or something. They wouldn't actually have like the actor might not be a magician, so they wouldn't be able to actually do a levitation trick, and so they'd use a wire or something, or they'd use, like I said, a cut to show something disappearing, which is pretty cheap because honestly, for a TV show, they should actually have a real magician actually doing a trick or actually teach it the actor the trick so that it actually looks natural. But I could do kind of the same thing in here because, and also because it's just text, and I'd have to figure out how to do it later. But I could just say he could make something disappear, even though it's technically an illusion. Um, and then I wouldn't necessarily have to know how a real trick actually worked. So we'll see here. Anywho, go back over here. Nobody's replying over here either. Okay. Paddle trick. As a mark on one side, by twisting it quickly, the paddle move to make the mark appear to vanish or switch sides. Relies on wrist motion to show the same side twice. Okay, that's not leaking paper clips. Folds paper strip and clips two paper clips onto it. Pulls the ends apart, causing the clips to link together without breaking the paper due to the folding pattern guiding the clips. Looks impossible as a mechanical trick. Um, they wouldn't necessarily have paper clips in Enchanted Lands. The that paddle trick idea might be a good idea. I don't know if that's a real trick or if that's just something that Grok just came up with. Um, yeah, torn napkin. The problem with the vanishing glass is that if it has anything in it, you could spill it, thereby ruining the illusion. Uh, wait, that's okay. Just give me a second. Like, oh, okay. World logic. Empty shot glass, yes. Balls. Um, I've seen cup and balls, but the way it's being described, it's not that much different than the shell game or three card Monty. The way you're describing it, let's see what it says. Got it. Author rely on misdirection of sleight of hand to make an object appear to move or vanish, often using gambling scams to trick spectators and betting on the wrong choice. A stage or close-up magic trick with theatrical flair, often involving multiple vanishes and reappearances, balls moving between cups or appearing under all the cups. It's more about spectacle than direct betting con, although it can be adapted for gambling. Specifically designed as street cons, where the performer manipulates a key or card to ensure that the spectator guesses wrong, losing their bet. The focus is on breaking the outcome, not theatrical magic. Alternative or adjusted tricks. Torn restored napkin, magnetic coin trick. Cell slight, press the coin against the spoon with a hidden finger to create the illusion, then releases it. Flips coins with demonstration, then shifts it to a doubling bet. Uh, let's see. Shakes more of the shell games direct guess the location mechanic. Yeah. That is right about cup and balls. Cups and balls. They always involve switching locations. Sometimes the cups are stacked and then they make the audience believe the, the ball dropped through the cups to the table beneath. Actually, I'm not sure if I've seen that one or not, but that sounds like a valid deal. So imagine putting a ball on top of a cup, and then putting another cup on top of it, and a ball and a cup, and then um saying some magic words or something, and then the cups kind of collapse as if the balls had um gone through, and that the cups are now on top of each other. And then when you open it up, all three are on the ground. And then when you open the cups up, the cups don't have any holes in them. So and three coin. Yeah, what kind of writing utensils? Feather quill. That's interesting. That's right. I keep forgetting that's one. Uses one for coin doubling scam. Additional easy tricks distinct on liquid turn restore paddle stick trick. Pen through coin illusion. Tavern quill stick whatever. Um, hmm. Why did... Huh. Um, okay. Okay. All right. Anyways, let's go back to here. All right. Basic, easy, magic tricks. Pencil float. Paper trick. Um, yeah, levitation thing. Pencil. Easy magic tricks for kids and beginners. That sounds good. The spoon bend. Spoon bend. You got any spoon, press it down with your hands, pretty bend it. It looks as though you've actually armed the spoon. Hmm, that's cool. The grip. Press the bowl of the spoon open side onto the table. Grip and detail. Crucial. As you press down. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, this isn't. What gets me here is. Oh, I see. Yeah, because all you're doing is you're shifting it in place and make it look like you still have the upright part. That's not the spoon bend that you always see a deal where they do it and they're holding it a certain way because it's I don't know if it's a prop that's been pre bent or what. Huh, using a watch, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, this actually uses a black background to do it. That's interesting. Hmm. Interesting. I actually look up some basic magic like on YouTube or something sometime. Oh, it looks like it's about time for my break. So, okay. I'll be on break. I'll be back in about half an hour. So, then I'll at least decide. I'll maybe I'll decide by the time I get back how I'm gonna handle Zanzibar's first trick or what his first trick's gonna be. Because I'm gonna do a thing where he's going to get some coins. He's gonna scam people out of by doing a coin doubling trick, basically, and that tell them they could lose their coinage, and in fact, that's what's going to happen is he's going to claim that sometimes it doesn't work, and then he's going to augment that with a little flash paper or something, a little some sort of little flare of some sort. Anyways, I will see you on the other side of the break. Yeah, back late as usual. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just lazy and, I take my break and whatever. And I mean, hardly even get anything done today. And already I only have like about an hour left. That's crazy. Okay, whatever. We're gonna get this party started. Get this party started. Okay. Okay, so let's us go back. Okay. Uh, Not Lapswood. Random villages. Does a few tricks. His core was distilled from locals. Okay, so trying to figure out a few different ways that Zanzibar can earn some coinage in order to be able to start putting on his cons, because you can't start with nothing. I mean, he might be able to start with nothing, and that's the point. I was trying to see if there was a way that I could do it to where he would virtually start with nothing, and then he would build it into something. If he's worth his weight in salt as a magician, he should be pretty easily able to fool people um, and to somehow grab a few points. Hmm. There's one other angle I just thought of for um, for Zanzibar, and that is presumably he was at some sort of casino in Las Vegas. Of course, he wasn't on the strip because he's running to the strip from the police. So presumably he was at some other hotel or some other venue where he was doing his act and he got caught. And we can still establish that Corvus is super duper smart. So it's not just the fact that he can steal stuff, but he can discern, because crows really can. They can discern the difference between certain objects, what they're called. There's a lot of stuff that crows can do. They're actually super duper smart, and so it wouldn't be a stretch for him to be even smarter than that. Like super super duper smart, basically. So it wouldn't be much of a stretch, and so I could somehow use that to my advantage as well. In fact, I'm going to ask Rock to um, let's go over here. Okay. I think I have enough material to um, to come up with something. Let me ask something else. Crows are supposed to be some of the smartest smart birds in the world, correct? And crows and ravens are slightly different. They're a little bit bigger, but they're generally kind of almost kind of the same family. Not just the same kinds of birds, but really kind of are. Specifically, whether yes, crows are widely considered among the smartest birds in the world. They belong to the corvid family, along with ravens, magpies, and jays, which are renowned for their intelligence. Studies show crows have advanced problem-solving skills, tool use, memory, social cognition comparable to some primates. See, this is why I was having him in there, and beyond just being like a cut purse kind of thing. The idea that maybe, for instance, able to snatch, earrings off of a woman's ears, diamond earrings or a necklace or something without her knowing it. Now, that would probably almost be impossible even for the smartest bird in the world. In other words, it'd be able to pick up, it'd be able to grab something, but um, it would have to kind of peck a little bit. In other words, it'd peck at a woman's ear to pull off the earring. So, even if it could do it safely without like hurting her ears or hurting her, it would still not be able to literally take it off of her person without her knowing it. But maybe my bird can be just slightly smarter than that, and all I'm doing is just stretching it just a little bit, for the sake of the story. Uh, Tools. New Caledonian crows craft tools from sticks or leaves to extract food, a rare skill among animals. Crows can recognize human faces and hold grudges, recalling individuals who wronged them years later. And likewise, people that helped them out, they can recall those guys from years later. Experiments show crows can solve puzzles like dropping stones into water to raise its level to reach food. They use complex vocalizations and gestures to coordinate with others, indicating social intelligence. This intelligence supports corpus performing trained tricks, fetching items, causing distractions, or aiding Zanzibar's cons without needing magical abilities, fitting his role as a clever companion. Um, yes, I'm thinking of ways he can be super smart to help. Let's say not in Enchanted lands, but in Zanzibar's magic act in our realm. Uh, Thanks, Rook, and nice to be back. Okay, all right. My eyebrows are some of the most unruly, and that's because I'm old now. I'm 50 years old. Well, I'm not 50 years old. I'm 49. I'm going to be 50 in August, in next month. August 23rd to be exact. And one of the weirdness of old age, at least for me, is my eyebrow hairs start growing off like weird and stuff, and they get into my eyes and stuff. It's like, what the heck is going on? Anyways, yes, I'm thinking of ways you can be super smart to help. Let's say not in Shadowlands, but in Zanzibar's Magic Act in our realm. Um, and not just a cut purse kind of thief, but uh, an animal with extremely intelligent skills. I might even say smarter than even actual crows are. I can stretch them a little because this it's fictional and it's fantasy. You're open to stretching his abilities beyond real world intelligence. As fraudulent magician command, he uses sleight of hand tricks to impress audiences. Alright, chorus intelligence should elevate the act to make it more theatrical and deceptive without relying on solely on thievery. Trained to fetch specific. Quit that. Quit. Trained to fetch specific items, e.g., coin, card, scarf, from hidden spot on the stage or in the audience, delivering them to Zanzibar at precise moments to complete a trick. flies in with a second coin, make it seem like Zanzibar summoned it. That's not a bad idea. In fact, I might use that. That's good. I didn't think about that. The idea is, well, basically, Corvus was going to take a coin from the bar, while the bar patron, large burly bar patron, was turned away from the bag, or more to the side to be exact, but turned towards the barmaid, and he's able to go and grab a coin or two and take it. But another thing would be having um, having Corey secretly grab some coins from wherever. Um, so another thought I had was that there could be some coins on the table, like some people go in and then they leave the money on the table and they leave. They don't like wait for a check or anything. I don't know if anybody does that in the U.S. anymore. Um, Other than a tip, like a tip, you might leave cash on the table for a tip. But I've seen, at least in old cowboy shows, uh, like in old westerns, they show them slap a coin onto the table after drinking their whiskey or whatever. Well, usually they go up to the bar and they get the whiskey by giving them a coin, but sometimes they'd sit down and they get a meal, right, and then they would slap the money on the table and then they would leave without getting a check, right? Um, so I'm thinking um, that sometimes they might do this. So there might be a couple of coins on the table for the barkeep or somebody to come by and pick it up for payment. And maybe Corvus actually flies and spots it and grabs some coins off the table that are unguarded. So, but you can do a thing where the coins are elsewhere, or um, they might not be outside, but maybe it looks like he came from outside, right? Do something like that. Um, yeah, making it seem like he summoned the coin. That's not actually a bad idea. Course could read audience cues, body language like subtle nod from Zanzibar, choosing the right prop to enhance the illusion far beyond a real crow's ability to follow complex signal. Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about like making it like vastly different than what a crow could actually do, but just stretch a little bit to where it even does even more. Vanishes a borrowed corridor, and Corridor swoops down from a perch with a duplicate, dropping it in a patron's glass. And Zabar collects tips, using one coin for doubling the scam. Precision and timing make the act seem magical, allowing audiences with setting up cons without stealing. Um, Interactive audience trick coordinator. Chorus engages the audience by selecting a volunteer or item, pointing a patron with his beak, or picking up their card. Zanzibar claims Corvus has mystic instincts, but it's actually trained behavior with hyper-intelligent cue recognition, spotting a marked card or responding to Zanzibar's subtle gestures. Fantasy twist. Corvus could memorize multiple audience members' items, brings watches, and retrieve the correct one for prediction trick, showing near human memory and reasoning. At a street show, Corvus chooses a patron's card from a deck, which Zanzibar predicts via a card force. Patrons tip coppers, which Zanzibar uses for doubling scam. Okay. Corvus' apparent decision making feels supernatural, drawing crowds and coins without thievery. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, could do a thing where supposedly Corvus was a was once a king, and he had been enchanted, and he had been transformed into this crow. Um, until he until he gets enough money to get the witch to change him back or something, and make the whole audience like bow. And while they're bowing, then with everybody looking down or whatever, then Corvus could actually he could tell Corvus to go and start taking people's money or whatever. And by the time Corvus came back to his perch or whatever, or to it, what's the name, shoulder, um, and showing that he is holding anything, but looking at people's coins or whatever are gone, you know. Um, yeah. Distraction master for misdirection. Of course, creates deliberate distractions, calling loudly, flapping wings, knocking over prop like a glass, divert attention, palming a corner, swiping a card. Unlike real chorus, Corvus could time these perfectly based on Zanzibar's verbal and physical cues. Chorus could improvise distractions by assessing the audience focus, only squawking when they're looking away from Zanzibar hands, showing uncanny situational awareness. Chorus knocks over an empty shot glass during a cups and balls trick, letting Zanzibar palm a cork. Patron's tip for the clever bird, and Zanzibar uses the coins for a scam. What works amplifies misdirection. Choices for his act. Okay, Corvus intelligence, stretching beyond real Corvus. Want to pick one of these roles. I don't need to do anything. Like it always asks if you want to do something, and all I asked it to give me is ideas. And so, okay, so uh, I don't know. I may not get the page done today because I have to come up with it. I have to come up with the choices. I have to be able to put the choices in there. Uh, the actual creating of the pages themselves don't really take that long, but coming up with them kind of does. Okay. So I'm gonna try to pick one thing that I can do that I can think of, and also I guess I should think of choices here too. Um, and probably these choices should uh, enable about the same thing, right? Should net them a few coins, a few extra coins. Okay, so now, given all this we discussed, give me three options that I can use when Zanzibar and Corvus enter this tavern. So the setup is he's going to figure out how to make money here. Um, and he decides to go into this tavern. Now, I can think up a sequence that is just that, a sequence of events uh, of whatever can happen, but I'm still wanting some interesting choices. but maybe end up with the same result. He wants a few coins to run the coin doubling scam. Okay, so they enter and see this seedy tavern. Well, I don't know if it's got to be seedy. It doesn't have to be seedy. Dimly lit tavern, and he's trying to assess what options he has to get a few initial coins. Suggestions based on what we discussed here. Check something here. Left to Greggy. Okay. This hyper-intelligent pit crow crows enter the tavern to make money through coin-doubling scam, targeting non-magical locals who are impressionable since only wizards similar classes use magic. You want 3 interesting choices rather than Zanzibar secures a few initial coins, small denomination like coppers to start his scam. He uses sleight of hand to double a coin, lets one get enough coins to run the scam, but offer very purchases using Corvus intelligence and tavern items. Well, I didn't really. I guess I don't want him to steal outright. I mean, he can do that, and he can steal his coins. I just didn't want the stealing part is not for this little small intimate setting. The stealing part is for when he starts doing his regular shows. He's out in the open, and he can put everybody's eyes on him while he's performing. When Corvus goes and starts, picking pockets and things. Set up recap. Fire liquor. A burly patron may have slammed a bag of gold coins on the bar. Zanzibar needs small coppers to start. The scam involves performing a trick during coins, then running a betting com where he doubles one coin, pays a winner, keeps extra bets, eventually escalating to bigger stakes. From cuts and balls, scores assist. It's mortal magic. Execution. Scores precise delivery adds a theatrical fare when stacking mugs. Yeah, maybe he'll do a thing, and I think I've actually seen this. So here's the setup, right? It's essentially a cup and balls trick kind of thing, but you have one cup and you got the ball or whatever it is. It could be a cork, like you said here, and he'll show it. He'll say, "Now here's this cork, and you can see that in this mug, there's nothing in this mug here. It's it's been emptied out. Maybe it's a patron. Maybe somebody at the bar, and so uh, or maybe it's a like a cup of mead or ale or something that's sitting on the bar, waiting for somebody to drink it, and he comes in and he drinks it up, and to much to the chagrin of the patron who ordered it, but um, everybody's looking at him now because he just did this thing, and then he says, "Now you can see I've emptied all contents out of it." And he shows the one guy. He says, "Now here's this cork here. Uh, Maybe ask for a cork. I don't know. Give me a cork here. You have a cork." or something small, like a button or something. He gives him a cork from one of the bottles. He says, now you can see here. He puts the cup on the table. He says, "Okay, here's a cork. I'm placing the cork on top of the mug." And then he goes, um, "I will make this cork pass through this mug, and you know, and if I can do this, then maybe ask the bartender." He says, "Bartender, will you give me a free, you know, a free mug of ale if now, granted, he's already drank somebody's mug of ale, but he's kind of bamboozling. He's kind of he's pretty smooth and he's quick witted and stuff. So they're kind of a little bit um, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but they're a little bit like brainless. I don't know. It's not brainless. Not the word I'm thinking of. But anyways, they're a little bit overwhelmed, this fast talking dude, right? In fact, he's so fast talking and so smooth that they kind of forget the fact that both the patron that Muggy stole and then the barkeep are both are just kind of a little bit overwhelmed. So he says, "Okay, I place the cork on top of the mug. Now, then he says, barkeep, give me another mug." So he gives him another mug. It could be, I don't know, it could be, maybe it should be like a regular cup, not an actual mug, so they can stack on each other and not have much of a problem, right? It wouldn't be a mug, it'd be a cup. Okay, so he's, hand me another cup, hand me another cup. It's a wooden cup. We'll say a wooden cup, I guess. So he hands him another cup and he says, "I will make this cork pass through this cup to the table. And if I do that, would you give me a free mug of ale?" And the barkeep will say something like, um, "All right, if you can do this, I will do it." So he does it. So basically, he puts the deal on there. He puts the cup on top of the other cup with the cork in there, and the top one. I don't know how I'm going to do this in just like one or two lines, but I'll figure it out. But here in a sec. Okay, so he has these cups stacked on top of each other, and there's a little bit of a gap. In other words, uh, the top cup is raised up a little bit because the cork is underneath it, out stopping it from going flat, right? From going completely over the other cup. And then he does the thing where he kind of says some words, maybe waves his fingers, and then suddenly the cup goes chunk like that. And then everybody sees it and knows that he didn't actually push it down or anything like that. In fact, that could be part of the trick. I don't know how you do this in real life if that would even work, because I've seen something similar. They put the cup on it and then it goes through and whatever. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I don't know how it would really work. But he does that, and then he, the top cup physically goes down because presumably the cork went through the other cup, right? Then he picks up both cups and he notices that the cork is there, right? Um, so that's how he gets that's how he gets a free drink. Okay, that doesn't really how he gets the coins though. Oh, but this is part of the way that his act works usually anyways. Corvus steals stuff while they're focused on him. So he might do this a couple of times, right? Um yeah, that's a thought. Oh, that's a good idea. In fact, maybe he will steal a few, or maybe what he'll do is Corvus will go while they're watching him do the trick. Corvus will go to the one of the purses and use his beak to kind of cut a hole or poke a hole in into the bag, the coin bag, and the coins will all fall out. And maybe even the person that has the purse noticed that all the coins fell out, and so he reaches down to pick up uh to pick it up. Maybe there's some coins on the other side of the bar, and maybe Zanzibar actually picks them up too, while everybody's looking at the guy. Um, yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's a lot of run paddle trick bet with Corvus's pointing act. Okay, so this is a cup and ball still. That's fine. Um, turn napkin. Corvus distraction draws eyes, letting Zanzibar pull off the trick flawlessly. Run paddle trick bet with Corvus pointing. Yeah, I don't know. Corvus points out to Patron. Hmm. Let's see. Corvus's rolls. He's stretch intelligence, adds flair. Um, okay. Hmm. I'm okay, so I'm still considering whether or not I want to use this exactly as Grok says, which I don't tend to do anyways, but I am still thinking about it. Let's see here. Okay. Anyways, let's go back to here. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Hmm. A lot of different things I can do here, and I guess that's kind of partly the problem. He just needs a few coins to start with. So, um, three ways of getting coins. Um, I only have about 30 minutes. We'll see if I can get through this here. Uh, okay. You know, I could almost elevate Corvus to a another character, villain character. Not a straight up villain character, but maybe when he gets in the Enchantlands, Corvus actually starts speaking to him in human language, or like actual voice. And then they'll say, I mean, couldn't you tell how much smarter I am than those stupid birds you call crows in your realm? Hmm. There's another thing I thought of. Well, I don't know. There's a bunch of different things that you can do. I was thinking maybe there'd be a deal where he claims he could turn anything or anyone into stone and then back again. And to prove that he can do it, he does it to Chorus. And somehow, I mean, somehow you have to have a statue or a prop or something where it looks like Corvus was turned to stone. And of course, he turns him back, and of course, now he's no longer stone. And then saying, "Well, if you don't want this to happen to you, you better give me a few coins." And I was thinking that might be a good thing. That requires more props and stuff. The idea is now he might have a few magic props from our realm. Like I said, like the flash paper. Um, in fact, he's going to use the flash paper as the mechanism to show when the coin doubling trick doesn't work. And I'm not sure if I will even do separate like choices there. It might be just a thing where he does the one trick. Um, the one like he'll do the three things here to get the initial coins, and then he's off to the races, so to speak. Hmm. See, it's still hard for me to come up with an idea, even though Grok gave me a bunch of ideas. Yeah, you know what? Another thing he could do to get some coinage is selling his magic hat. His hat's not actually magic. It's just he does some tricks that make him think it's magic. Hmm. Maybe. I mean, once he realized he was scammed, I don't know. The idea is actually good. Just because he was running from the police in our realm doesn't mean he's not good. In fact, he's gonna be really good, and that's gonna be part of the problem here. So he can't just do something that could easily be found out or caught onto real quick. Hmm. Maybe part of the deal about Corvus being so smart is that he can actually communicate to Zanzibar. Zanzibar can actually pick up on these different causes and stuff, and like there's literally a kind of like almost like a language. It wouldn't be like a regular talking language, but like okay, so you know how the whole mentalist kind of old school, you know, um, blindfolded, and then uh the assistant goes in and they hold it up and say, "Can you tell what this is?" And then it's like a watch or something, gold watch or some diamond earrings or something, you know. Um, and the whole deal is that the assistant usually gives um, some some it's like coded language, right? So they say certain things, certain words in a certain way, and that's how the person um, the one that has the clairvoyance or whatever that can um, find something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I forget what they call those guys. Um, Actually, let me ask Rock. Um, that's funny. What do you call those guys? Um, they show in like old movies and stuff where the magician is blindfolded and he usually has an assistant. And he has wait, and he has an assistant, usually a beautiful woman, go to different people in the audience and tells them to give her a an item, and the magician has to tell them exactly what it is, and it's usually because of some code that the assistant and magician use to communicate what the object is. Uh, yeah. Mhm. Mentalism. It's mentalist or blindfold mind reading routine. Two-person telepathy the act. Performers often called mentalists or mind readers. Relies on a coded communication system between the magician and their assistant. The assistant subtly conveys the object's identity through specific words, phrases, or gestures. What is this? Or watch. Please show me this for a ring. Which is the blindfolded magician decodes to reveal the item. Um, um, at least, um, at least this can be one act that he does, and instead of a woman assistant, it's going to be it's going to be Corvus. He's going to be crowing a certain way, and Zanzibar is able to detect what he's saying through this. I think I will add it as one of the voices. Not sure what I will substitute it for, but I think the fact that Corvus is super intelligent um, means he can convey things to the bar through specific noises Corvus makes. So he'll get a few coins from that. And actually, I might do the thing where it's just he's doing the entertaining thing and they throw a few coins at him, you know. Maybe one is he'll steal it. Maybe he'll steal the one from the burly patron. That would be the first one way he gets a few coins. Second way will be this mentalist act, and then the third way will be the kind of the cup and ball thing. And the cup and ball thing, he'll actually kind of steal from that too. So actually, he will be stealing, but I'll get a few coins from that. Anybody thinks Zanzibar through specific noises, of course, makes get a few coins from that. I think that's probably not a bad way to start the thing. That would be one of the choices. My reading trick. And performs the trick. Cover selects a patron's item and signals a coded cause. One for coin, two for ring. Then I guess it collects 2 to 3 copper tips used for his doubling scam. 4 cups and balls with stack. Um, Actually, the first one will be the mind reading trick. In fact, I think I'm going to have the patrons throw coins at him for his act on this one. The second one is the cup and balls. The cups and balls. Let's say cups and balls trick. Where Corvus will actually steal a few coins from people that are paying their attention to Zanzibar's act. And the third one, I think, will be the burly patron that comes in, and Corvus will simply lift a few coins off the bar with no one noticing. I think that's what I'm going to do here. So, in fact, I should go ahead and put that each choice leads to Zanzibar collecting before escalating the bigger bets. Mind reading trick. From cuts and balls. Those under stacked mud, claiming it passed through mortal magic. Stealthily steals 2 or 3 coppers from distracted patron's pouch or table. The stacking trick captivates the crowd. Pro's subtle theft goes unnoticed. He never collects the stolen coins. He uses one for his doubling scam. Burly patron with Corvus lifting coins. While the patron demands cooks the hard stuff, and Corvus quietly lifts 2 to 3 spilled coppers from the bar, unnoticed due to his hyper-intelligent timing in the tavern's bustle. Setting pickle magic. Each choice results in Zanzibar securing 2 to 3 copper pieces of Star's coin doubling scan. He performs a sleight of hand trick. Doubles 1 coin for a winner. Claims magic failed for others. Oh, and this was something that I was thinking about coming up with, and I still might, but I haven't decided whether I'm going to do it just yet. Let's see here. Updated artifact. Okay, actually, I can go ahead and copy this text and then copy contents, and then I can actually go into my notes here and okay, a special unformatted text. Okay. Okay, so here we'll leave that. Yeah. So I think that will work. I don't know if I should start on the actual pages here. I mean, technically, it means I haven't gotten anything done. You know, I might. You know, I was thinking about that. That coming up with the stuff is going to be the same almost every time. You know, I mean, it'll be different like story items, and I'm kind of going. Maybe I should do some offline work, right? And that doesn't really go along with the idea of showing everything. But at the same time, um, I can show you enough of what I do that it shouldn't matter that much that I'm not showing you the process for every single choice I'm making or every single page I'm adding, you know, because it's pretty much same, you know, same as ever, right? I do this. The next thing I have to think about, okay, what are interesting choices I could put here for this thing? What are some that I can put here? And I don't know if I should do this or not because nobody's going to care that much for one thing. So I don't really have a problem of doing it or not doing it because of somebody saying, you said you show everything, but you're not showing everything. You actually doing stuff off the line or whatever. I'm not really afraid of anybody saying that because I don't get that many people listening or watching anyways. Rook, you're about the only one that does. Occasionally, I mean, I got some other friends, online friends that will pop in here and there as time permits and stuff, which is cool. But there's a majority of people that are going to go, "Oh, whoa, you lied to me" or whatever. Uh, on the one hand, the other hand is to stay consistent, to where you literally can watch all of the streams in order, and like you can see where every single idea came from. So if I do that, I mean that's a thing. I don't know if it's valuable. I guess. In other words, if everything was there like this and I showed every single idea, of all the pages, right? Um, because like I said, it's going to be the same kind of process each time. I might get to a point of where I streamline it to where I'm not using Grok so much, and where, like I said, I have a kind of a process, and I go this, and this, and still showing, yeah, still showing the the majority of what I do, or whatever. And so I'm kind of going, maybe I should still be able to do some offline stuff. Tomorrow I'm not going to even be able to stream, so that means I'm not developing. But so here's the interesting part. The interesting part here is, and I don't know if it's less boring or more boring, but um, actually the process for this is going to be the same every time. It's not even coming with the ideas. It's just actually putting in I use plus, I add rooms, I name them something, I put in the description, I put links to other rooms, job done, right? That might not be important to show every single page that I do for this, actually adding them to the game. So I'm thinking, well, maybe like I only have 10 minutes left. Now I can probably put in this stuff in here in about 10 minutes. So I can probably, if I want to, finish up by putting these in. But the one thing that I could do is I could do this stuff offline and still have the me come up with the ideas on stream. Um, and it wouldn't be that much different. It just mean that each time you'd see um, each time you'd see this tree getting bigger. It already have gotten bigger. Um, anyways, that's a thing to think about, I guess. Whether or not I should just do some stuff offline and all that. You know, honestly, I don't really want to like quit. Like, well, I felt like I should maybe rethink this whole streaming thing. Maybe stream less. Still do some offline stuff. Still show most of what I do, but not do it as much. Maybe because maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I won't ever get anybody on here. But at the same time, I don't really want to quit either. You know, this is the kind of thing that happens, right? And you've seen the charts where they have the chart where it does this thing where it goes and kind of flatlines and then suddenly it just goes like through the roof, right? And it's because people had continued with it, right? So they do this for 6 months. I could say that I've done mine for 6 months. I started November. Um, honestly, I mean, I guess you could say it's been more like 8 months, right? Or like 9 months, I guess technically. I mean, we're in July, and I started this on November of 2024, but it was like the last week, so really I had started in December. So December, January through June, that's 6 months, and then December would make it 7 months, and technically I'm on my eighth month, you could say. Um, Now what was I saying? What was the reason I was talking about that? Oh yeah, it's just that some of the YouTube channels you see, and um, they um, they basically go for a couple of years and they don't see hardly any interaction, any viewership or nothing until they hit that couple year mark, and then suddenly it goes way up. And I don't believe that it has anything to do with quantity anymore. Maybe quality, because I'll admit my older videos were pretty crappy. Even this is not that great, you know. I'm not getting that many views on my updates, and I'm not getting hardly any views here on the streaming. So I mean, I never ever get any views on the streaming. Um, but in a way, I shouldn't quit, right? I mean, the streaming part of it, you know, I shouldn't definitely shouldn't quit the making the game. I'm not gonna quit making the game. I have a plan. I actually broke it down enough to where I have a plan, and so far the plan is kind of working. Right? I've got a lot more done here than I would have got otherwise. In fact, each time that I try to start making this game, I always quit because there's always something that stalled me, something that stopped me. But the way I'm doing it this way is the way I'm breaking it down, and I have the whole story written up, and then I'm working on the actual pages that will turn out to be the full pages of the full game. Even though I've only got to like 10% of the game that the pages put in or something. I see a goal here coming, and so it looks like I'm going to finish. At least I'm going to finish phase one. So phase one will be complete. You'll be able to experience the whole story. You'll be able to experience the choices and everything when I'm done with this. And I still don't know how long it's going to take. I know that if I come up with I know that if I come up with a process where I'm able to get at least two, preferably four pages done, then I could get this completely done in 1 2 months, and so this phase would technically be done in a few months. It'd be done this year, I guess. I mean, you could say this year. It's I mean, like I said, I've already done 8 months so far, and you know, and we're barreling towards the end of summer, and then soon it'll be winter and Christmas, and you know, it'll be like a whole year. Like I'll end it at November. I thought this was gonna take a few months, and it's taking me months and months and months and months. But it's still gonna get done though, which is good. So I guess I really shouldn't stop, and I should just keep going until I get something tangible, right? So when I the good part is, no matter how bad or good the streams or the update videos are, I will at least have had phase one. I'll be starting on phase two, and soon the momentum will just kick in to where I'll get my viewers that ways. In other words, they won't necessarily be watching it because I'm such a great thing to watch, but when they see how much I've got done already, when they see that I got, let's say, the whole story, the interactive fiction version, or I guess you could say choose your own adventure version, because it's not a full choose your own adventure game. It's just it's a interactive book, interactive novel. I don't know, whatever, interactive narrative, right? At least they'll see that, and they'll go, oh wow, he's making this progress. And then later on, like, I'll start adding stuff, and I'll start be doing things with the rooms, and then I'll start adding a little bit of graphics, and then I'll start adding some this, and I'll have the parser, and then eventually people will be like, they'll just be watching it just because they're seeing the whole game come to life. At least that's what I think. I just hope it's sooner rather than later, because like I said, I'm almost running out of money for internet, and we might almost even have to quit internet altogether. I mean, we do have our phones and stuff, and so I'll be able to to get my email and a few things, but I won't be able to stream anymore until I either get a job of some sort or I get some kind of work otherwise, or this thing takes off. I'm hoping this thing will take off. And I haven't pushed the Patreon much because I haven't really set it up. So, and I'm not asking Rook. Obviously, I'm not asking you specifically anything to do with the Patreon. I'm just saying, so that it's recorded here, that I'll have the Patreon thing, and that might do something once it's all set up, but once I have an audience. But I'm not gonna. It's not gonna. Um, it's not gonna make any. I'm not gonna get any patrons until I get far enough that there's enough people that are watching, and just watching on their own too. Not me posting every single day that I'm going live. You know, at some point I might start posting less. I might post my live thing once a week and just say that I'm Monday through Friday, at this certain time or these certain times, and then but maybe there'll be enough momentum that people are just now they're following the project, right? I hope. Anyways, so yeah, so I guess I just kind of I didn't really waste my time, but I kind of wasted my time to the point of where I couldn't actually add this page here. But at least since now I know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, at least I got a better idea tomorrow. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do my little recording that I do, and then my little progress recording, and then I will quit the stream, and then I will probably see you on Friday because tomorrow I'll probably be a bit busy. I probably won't stream. I might in the morning, maybe, but probably not. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow. Anywho, let's start the recording. Okay, Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. I didn't actually get a lot of physically done. Like I didn't actually fill any pages in here, but I did figure out what choices I want to put in here. And I'll just go ahead and briefly go over it real quick in this little recording. Hopefully, it's not going to take that long. But so basically, Zanzibar is in the realm now. He's in Enchanted Lands, and so now he's going to try to figure out how to make some money here. And so the first thing he does is he goes into to the nearest tavern. He goes in and he needs he's got a few scams that he runs regularly, and one of them is a coin doubling scam, where he's gonna say that he can use magic to double your coins, and then he'll give you back you double your money, right? But he's gonna say that sometimes the magic doesn't work, and that you might lose your money too, right? And then of course he does a few things where some people in the audience they actually win a couple of times, and then he can start actually making it to where it doesn't work sometimes, because he's controlling the whole thing. So it's really just a scam. So he'll eventually end up being able to keep the money and make a bunch of money that way without anybody really questioning him. But first, he needs a couple of coins to start with. He can't just start with nothing. So he's going to do a couple of things here, and the first thing he's going to do is he's going to where in the where who's bar not shroom new con doubling scam. Okay, let's see, for my reading trip. Okay, so yeah, okay, so the three different ways he's going to get his initial coins is, first he's got a mind reading trick that he actually works with Corvus. Corvus is super smart, in fact smarter than almost every other crow on the planet, and so Corvus will communicate what items the patrons are holding up by his noises, some calls that he makes, and Zanzibar will be blindfolded, and then it's the old mind reading trick that he can read the mind of his assistant, which happens to be Corvus in this case. And when he's successful at it, they end up throwing coins at him. This is the only one that doesn't involve stealing. Okay, the next one is the cup and balls thing, where he's doing the cup and balls magic act, and they're all watching it, and so Corvus goes and steals some coins from a couple of the patrons that are focused on the magic trick. And then the third one is the third one is a burly patron comes in with this big bag of coins and he slams it on the table, and a few of them spill out onto the bar. And while he's not looking, Corvus actually lifts a few of those, and that's how he gets his initial coins to. This is taking a lot longer than I would want to do, but this is how he gets his initial coins in order to do the coin doubling scam, which he does afterwards. So this is what I'm going to implement tomorrow. Anyways, that's about all I've done for today, and we'll see what happens the next time I come back. Okay, so that's it for today too. I'll be back on Friday. I'll be streaming on Friday. Probably not tomorrow. More than likely not tomorrow. So thanks, Rick, for staying here. Thanks, Greg, for popping in. And thanks to everyone else for watching. And yeah, thank you for watching.